Hi mods. Thank you again. Love you guys. This bit's kind of awkward, isn't it? Me just waiting till everyone gets here. Taking longer than usual. This is really awkward. Oh gosh, here we go. Hey, is everyone here now? Hopefully? Maybe? Yes. I guess it is time. Hi everyone. This is the stream I promised. I apologize that it's so just late and not, you know what I mean? It's the stream I promised that I would do. My final thoughts on everything, you know, just everything that I need to get out before I can even begin to heal anything. So here it is. I apologize that it is later, I'm pretty sure, than I said. I've been really sick, and I was hoping that I could wait to do this so I could be of right mind to, and wait until I got better, but I've just been getting worse. Wise,
Hi,
so
Katie.
I
How
figured I would just
today?
do it now because I'm obviously not going to be getting better anytime soon. So, here it is. Like I said, this is the stream. Just my final thoughts on everything. If you're looking at this stream, for me to like expose and drop new drama or just anything to talk about, it's not that kind of stream. And I apologize if you think it is going to be. It's just
less than 3.
Everything I need to say, from my voice, coming from me. I also apologize. I will be, you know, stopping, stuttering. I can't control the emotions I show during this. I didn't even write anything to say. I've written down, you know, the things I want to talk about, but it's not something I can just sit and read, which is hard for me because it's hard to just voice how I'm thinking, what I'm thinking. So I do ask that you guys be patient with me. And this isn't edited, so I can't, you know, go back or cut out the pauses that I make. So again, I apologize. This is gonna be all over the place and probably not make any sense. But I'm doing it anyway. I guess. I also want to thank everyone that is even just here. Even if you're here for the absolute wrong reasons and you hate me, hate my guts, I want to thank you anyway for being here to hear me. Because there's a lot of people right now that are even just only watching clips from things I've said and refuse to watch the full thing. Where there's a lot of people that only want to watch his videos on it. Especially because of the latest video using clips from my stream. They really don't feel it's necessary to watch or read any of my stuff. And it's hard. I feel like I don't have a voice in my own story, if that makes sense. So I really want to thank you guys for at least being here, hearing me out. Again, I'm sorry if I like say things the wrong way and just use the wrong wording or go back. It's just crazy right now. Everything's crazy. But I thank you guys for being here. Anyways, the one biggest thing that I want to clear up, it is fucking sexual assault. Okay? I'm not gonna apologize, say that it isn't sexual assault, that I'm not a sexual assault victim. The touching that he has admitted to many times, this touching that he admitted to not asking or getting my consent before he did, he felt up my tits on a couch with other people there. He stuck his hand up my shirt, under my bra, and felt up, fondled, whatever you want to say. He felt up my tits. Unwanted sexual touch is literally in the definition of sexual assault. It's fucking sexual assault, and I'm never gonna apologize for saying it is, okay? It isn't fake allegations. It's not fake allegations. I'm not a liar. Quite literally, the thing that I was talking about is my sexual assault. And that's the one thing he confirmed. He can sit there and confirm that he did it. And I'm still sat here getting called a liar, getting called a fake victim, getting called, what was it? A slut and a prude at the same time. And quite frankly, it's fucking ridiculous. I'm not gonna stand down. Luckily, I'm not scared to say it anymore. That's it. It's sexual assault. He felt up my tits. This touching that he's talking about, that's what it is, okay? No, I'm not upset that he tickled me. I'm not saying that he assaulted me because he tickled me or because he was close to me. No, I'm upset because I was on a couch, 18 years old, drunk, on a couch with other people in the room, and he sticks up his hand and starts feeling my tits. That was my fucking story. No, he didn't ask if I wanted it. But somehow, you know, he had enough energy to ask the question, are you ticklish? Which I responded with no. I'm not fucking ticklish. And that's what led to him feeling up my tits. He will never understand, that feeling when I realized this wasn't just a bunch of people hanging out on a couch together, a bunch of friends hanging out, when it was inherently a sexual thing. And that instead of just a bunch of friends on a couch together, I was being wanted for my body. No, he would have never felt my uncomfort because he was too busy feeling something else that night. The amount of miscommunication, misinformation that is spreading is one of the biggest reasons I feel like I just don't even really have anything to say anymore, because I mean, I was reading my own story on Twitter and I was reading it and I didn't even know it was my story they were talking about until they said my name because of how skewed everything's gotten. It's like this huge game of telephone where each time it gets a little bit more off, but no one's acknowledging that they could have heard wrong, and they're yelling what they heard as loud as possible. Okay, people saying I'm trying to ruin a man's career because he tickled me, or especially he did not rape me either. Like, it's so important to hear what I'm saying. People getting their info from TikTok comment sections, like, it is insane. I really do encourage everyone to watch my response on it. Like, either read my response on Twitter or watch the original video. I don't fucking care if you can't stand the fact that I'm crying. At least, if you're gonna say something, if you're gonna hate me, that's fine. Watch my full video and then choose to. Like, it's just, there's a lot. There is something I'm fully owning up to and clearing up right now. The screenshot, my recent response on Twitter, this is the only kind of, like, response thing I'm gonna give, I will acknowledge. That was a complete miscommunication. There's a screenshot I said was from his friend that wasn't there for the assault, mentioned our ages, and acknowledged, you know, the situation was weird. It's a real screenshot. What I got wrong and what was miscommunicated was who it was from. It was actually from, instead of the guy who left or wasn't there for the assault, it was from the girl who wasn't there for the assault. Which I acknowledge is frustrating that I got that wrong, and I didn't realize I got it wrong until after I posted it a long time after. And obviously when I don't come out and say, oh, I got that wrong, when he's the one to come out and say she got that wrong, it makes that into the biggest deal. I got a message from the girl that actually sent the text and was like, it was a while after I already posted my response, and was like, you kind of mixed up who the text was from, but I'm sure it won't be a big deal because it was only one of the minor things you said, and everything else you said in that response was way more important. Which obviously we've seen that was not the case, but I do acknowledge and own up to the fact I completely was wrong about that. But again, I'm saying, even though it wasn't from his friend, it was yet another person in the hotel room that acknowledged the weirdness. Yes, it wasn't from that guy in the hotel room, it was from the girl in the hotel room. Like, I still think the screenshot, it's not a fake screenshot as well. It's a real screenshot. I still think it adds to the fact of, you know, people acknowledged it. Also, the fact that I said I was freshly 18, which is something a lot of people are mad about, when in reality, I was 18 and 5 months old. My bad. What I meant to say in that original stream where I said I was freshly 18, I said I was freshly 18 and just out of high school. What I meant to say was I was 18 and freshly out of high school. I just put it in front of the wrong thing, and I do acknowledge that, but once again, I feel like the idea is still the same, whether it's freshly 18 or freshly out of high school, because I had just graduated a few weeks earlier. The idea is still there. It's still there. And these are the things, I'm sorry, I do get frustrated with that because people are mad at me saying that I'm a liar because of these things instead of acknowledging the fact that he fucking admitted to doing what he did to me. Like, and we're worried about the fact that I said I was freshly 18 when I meant to say I was freshly out of high school. It's just, again, and I shouldn't be getting frustrated, but
hey, Judy,
it's just upsetting seeing him admit to it, and that not being enough. And for the people saying he was drunk too, so he didn't consent. I didn't fucking feel up his tits. What did he not consent to? I would like to make it clear, there was no reciprocation in any sexual act. The sexual act that happened was not reciprocated. The only thing he could have not consented to was him putting his own hand on my tits. I didn't touch him after that. I didn't touch him sexually before that. There was nothing for him to consent to sexually. I understand that could be an argument, not for this situation. The hypocrisy that has surrounded this situation is fucking insane. I'll get into just the blaming of me, that is insane. Shit. But the hypocrisy of I just can't do anything in this situation. I mean, I came out about it publicly, and I was called an attention-seeking slut. So then I'm like, fine, I privated all my things so I couldn't receive followers, receive clout. You know, I couldn't grow from this. I've privated everything, so I can't gain that. And then I'm told I'm hiding from everything and that I should go public. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I cry on my stream because I'm scared and I'm talking about my assault. I cry, and then I'm told I'm embarrassing, that I'm doing it for attention, that I'm a pick-me, that I'm dramatic. But if I sat there and I didn't cry, I know I would have been called a liar, soulless, heartless, you know, a sociopath. You can't do anything right in these situations, and it's fucking insane. for people saying take legal action, do you know the odds of winning an assault case? Like, there's a reason. 1 out of 3 girls are assaulted in their lives. Okay, there's a reason so many of them don't come out about this. The system, you would like to believe that it's always for you. The amount of fucking injustice that happens with our system is insane. It's absolutely insane. And you sit here and see someone come out about their story, and your immediate thing is, well, take it up with the law? Like, that will serve any justice. So, fuck you. People, even just the hypocrisy of people not being able to watch my video, me coming out about my assault, but being able to hear it from his mouth. But they don't want to watch mine because I'm too dramatic and because I'm crying too much. But they'll watch his. I think it's insane. The amount of people telling me how I felt that night. The amount of people telling me how I felt. Or the amount of people believing from his mouth how I felt. Instead of just fucking hearing me say how I felt. It's insane. It's insane. And the fact that if I have inconsistencies in my story, which I do, and I'm not gonna say I don't, I'm like remembering the night of my assault, and I'm sorry, but the thing that I really remembered is the assault. I didn't remember, you know, like if a person who wasn't there for the assault left at a certain time. I remembered my assault. I will acknowledge that there are inconsistencies, but when I have inconsistencies in my story and I address them and I acknowledge it, my whole story's out. It's in the trash, and I'm seen as a liar for inconsistencies. But when he has an inconsistency, or when, you know, even the 21 wristband thing, saying I had a band that said I was, you know, when he has an inconsistency and I prove it wrong, have video footage of it, it's still used against me to this day. His inconsistencies are taken as the holy fucking grail and as the truth, even when proved wrong. And when I have an inconsistency, my whole fucking everything I've said is gone. It's just the way I've been treated is fucking insane. And I'm not afraid to say it's fucking insane. Because I do acknowledge I have inconsistencies, you know. But it is. Anyways. And I also understand the idea that we have different point of views. Obviously, we're gonna have different point of views of that night. Otherwise, what happened wouldn't have happened. I don't understand believing the one point of view over the other. And again, even the fact that we have different point of views. The one thing we agree on, is the fact that he touched me and didn't ask if I was okay with it. That's what I came out about, and that's what he agreed with. I mean, it's, I don't know. Oh, and again, the fact of him saying I painted him in a bad light. I'm talking about my assault. I'm not gonna paint it in a fucking rainbows and sunshine light. Him saying I used word choices that painted him bad, but then he says stuff like, oh, we cuddled before. Cuddling can be taken, and I watched it be taken and ran with. He says we cuddled, and people are like, you can't get mad at what he did to you because you were lying on top of him and all up on him before it happened. I wasn't. We were on a couch. Sitting up. We were all on a couch. Everything and anything you could consider cuddling, I saw that as a friendly, like, drunk, what you do with your friends. I was doing it with my best friend that was right next to me as well, you know? And again, I believed any touches were more initiated by him, but again, that's just hearsay. Again, but just using words like that, it can be taken and ran with. It wasn't anything sexual, and I believe it was pretty tame. You know, I didn't, again, believe that it was an invitation for anything sexual or that it would lead to anything sexual, especially it being in front of a bunch of people. For the people saying I'm an attention seeker, I think genuinely when people come out about these kind of things, is insane that people believe that. Anyone who has genuinely came out about a true story that has happened to them, they know that this attention is the worst attention you could possibly ever get. I've lost the love for something that I've spent so long on because of all of this. You know, it is everything that I've worked for since I was 16. On this account, you know, under this name, everything that I've worked for is overshadowed by this. When you look up my name, this is what it is. I'm fucking defined by this now. You know, and there's no coming back from that. Why would I want that? And it's my trauma and what I've been through has become drama and clickbait and just another discussion topic to argue with each other on Twitter. Why would I want any of this? I will tell you guys why I came out about it later, but this is not the attention anyone would want. And if someone does want attention like this, they're fucking insane. This isn't me undermining any of the support I've gotten. I love you guys, and I love the people that have shown me support. I'll never be able to thank you guys enough, but even the good support that I've gotten in this situation, you know, the people that are strictly, before I privated, following me just because of this, it's not even the kind of following that I want, you know? People following me because I'm a victim. People following me because of this situation. It just further defines me, you know? Of course, I love the support, and that isn't me not acknowledging how grateful I am. But again, obviously the bad attention's bad, but even the good attention, it's not even what I would want. I've always wanted, you know, to connect with more people and to, you know, my content to be known more, but I don't want it to become more well known because I was assaulted. And I hope you guys can also understand that. So both sides of the attention I'm getting, it's just, again, it's nothing I would ever want. And again, why would I come out about this? For more clout? I don't want to fucking do content. What am I gonna do with the clout? I don't know what my future holds, but I don't want a career in content or anything like that. Yeah. Again, I want to talk about the good response. I really appreciate everybody that has reached out. It's such a double-edged, you know, because as much as I'm glad so many people are connecting with me and, you know, feeling better about themselves, it hurts seeing how many people can relate. It hurts hearing the stories people are coming out with. It's great, and I love the response that people feel safe to come out about their stories. It hurts how many there are. And it just further, you know, it further sets in my mind that I would do this again. No matter how many fucking names I'm called, even if I have to disappear from the internet, I would do it all again. Seeing how many people it has helped, and the space that it's created for other content creators to come out about their stories. I mean, even DMs I've gotten, people who aren't ready to come out publicly, but from bigger content creators, bigger than me, smaller than me, and you guys sending me letters, sending me messages. Again, it breaks my heart knowing you guys have went through that, but it also is like, you know, I want to create this space that people feel safe to talk about that. The bad response has been a lot. Even the fact of fucking reporters messaging me asking for my fucking take on it all, or my comment on it. Actually fucking choke. Are you joking? It's insane. I mean, watching the position I'm in right now, watching thousands of people comment on your sexual assault story, people fight each other over it. People use it as a talking point on a YouTube video or a podcast, you know, it being made into clickbait. It's insane. Watching my experience that is so, means so much to me, get dumbed down and simplified in just a few words or in a few sentences, so it's more digestible and more consumable for people. It's insane. I will be talking about, as for his response, I don't have much to say. To me, it's very clear what's going on, but I know it may not be for a lot of people. Because I'm now cleared from the fog of believing shit. He deleted the apology on Twitter, so that's not what I'm talking about. That was deleted. Now there's just, again, the 2 videos that have been made, which I don't even know where to start. I mean, and I could have even understood if it would have been I know we have different perspectives of the night, and I know I assumed stuff that I shouldn't have, but I'm still sorry for hurting you. Period. But anytime, again, he readmits to the fact that he touched me without consent, it's followed with a but. It's followed with a, yes, I touched you. Yes, I didn't ask if it was okay. But you were smiling. But you seemed like you would have wanted it. But I assumed you wanted it because I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking sick of the but. I'm just so sick of it. And not even just that, it's then put into this video where the entire video's picking apart my story once again. Picking apart every single thing I said. And once again focusing on things that are irrelevant to the fact that you fucking touched me. I mean, being like, whoa, she said my friend left early, but really he left late. What the fuck does that have to do with you touching me and not asking first? What the fuck? Your friend wasn't there when it happened. Oh, this is all the stuff she left out. She left this out because she can't be trusted and is leaving important info out. I left out the 2 people that were in that room that weren't there for my assault. I was talking about my assault. They weren't there for it. Why would I? He's put in this position, right? To pick out every inconsistency and especially pick out any information I didn't mention and to put it on a silver platter and be like, here's everything that she was kind of wrong about and here's everything she left out. So she can't be trusted. And because I'm the one pointing it out, you can trust me. Because I'm the one putting it out there for you, you can trust me. He's put in this position. And again, he says stuff like, he conveniently didn't acknowledge my age, despite the numerous, opportunities. He conveniently didn't acknowledge the power imbalance. He conveniently doesn't remember these things. I mean, and then he says stuff like, well, I'm a good guy. Obviously, he's gonna fucking say that. You think that if he genuinely is the person to kind of be like this, that he would go on on an edited fucking video and be like, yeah, I'm a bad guy. Yeah, I purposefully, oh yeah, I knew her age. He's not gonna say that. He has a fucking career to protect. He's gonna say whatever the fuck he needs to. He has so much at stake. I have fucking nothing left. Like, it's obvious to me the kind of people that these people are. I mean, he'll admit, he can get on a video and sit there and admit to touching me without consent. And then he can bury it. He brings up all these screenshots, all these different details that are irrelevant in the night. He brings this up on purpose, so that's what you guys talk about. He brings up, oh, well, these are texts from Dream and Ghosty. Why do I fucking care about text between Dream and Ghosty when I'm talking about you fucking touching me? He brings up these texts and he brings up this irrelevant stuff to distract you guys. He's distracting you guys. He's bringing this up to be like, here, look at this. Here, debate this. Here, talk about this. Oh, and by the way, I did touch her and I didn't ask. And yes, that's the thing she's coming out about that I'm confirming. But look at this. It's so obvious to me. I mean, even like, in DMs and stuff, that in my first video I confirmed I came out about the fact that, about the messages, but him saying, let's switch from Instagram DMs to go to Snapchat. what is the point of texting on Snapchat versus Instagram? The only reason we didn't continue on Snapchat is because I didn't want to continue there. But in the middle of a convo being like, let's switch to Snapchat, where messages and pictures disappear. I mean, I just feel like these kinds of people are so smart and so calculated. I feel like it's so obvious. But I also acknowledge why people wouldn't see it, because they are very convincing. And honestly, I acknowledge, I mean, it's fine, if you don't believe me. I would also like to point out, every source that he's getting, if you've noticed, anytime he says, well, she seemed comfortable, and I even asked, the person he's getting to confirm his point of view is his best friend. Or the guy that he called in the video, again, his friend. The three guys that were there, the one guy I didn't mention, and the other two are all friends. He says, well, she wasn't uncomfortable. Well, she seemed like she was fine. And I asked Dream about this. That's his best friend that is helping him make these videos. He is quite literally helping him and sending him stuff to make these videos, these edited responses that he's making them with Dream, like, and then he's using Dream as a source to tell if I was okay or not. I mean, and this friend, whose career is also on the line because they've built their careers together. If he goes down, they both go down. They're obviously gonna back each other up. And I do acknowledge, this is me acknowledging, I can also be a hypocrite in this situation because I had a best friend there. Obviously, my best friend was there. So it's these three guys who were friends, and then me and my best friend. But I would also like to point out, the two girls that were there, the one from the screenshot that said, mentioned the age difference and, like, was mentioning how weird it was. And then the other girl that mentioned that, the other girl that was there during the assault that texted me the day after and said, are you okay? I was really uncomfortable with how touchy George was being. Those two girls, I met 2 days prior. Those two girls weren't my friends. They were lovely, lovely girls, yes. But I met them 2 days prior. And after VidCon, I never spoke to them again. My most recent texts from them are after I came out about my story. These aren't people, that, you know, these are people that I had just met. And both of these girls were uncomfortable with the situation. And it's okay, if you don't believe me, or if you don't believe him, or you don't believe either of us, because our point of views are biased. I mean, my point of view is probably really biased, because I'm the one that got felt up. I mean, I'm not gonna feel great about the situation. But if you're wondering, like, who you can trust on saying how these people are behind the scenes, really acknowledge and really pay attention to the people that are speaking out. Pay attention to the people that surround them to this day. Pay attention to the people that haven't spoken out but have distanced themselves. And pay attention to the people that are speaking out. Because I can tell you, it's not just me. It really isn't. And there are other things that have happened, but that isn't my story to tell. I can only tell so much because those aren't my stories. You know, those aren't my stories to tell. But it's the things that, it's just, don't worry, I'm trying to not prolong this. The three main things I said in my first stream, and the three important things in this story: age, power, and consent. Two things, again, he's conveniently not acknowledged, or conveniently didn't acknowledge at the time. The age gap, obviously, again, my story's about consent, but these are really important these will explain my thought process, just the way things played out. The age gap. Yes, it's important to know. Again, not freshly 18, freshly out of high school. 18 and 5 months, and he was 26. It's also important to acknowledge this age gap because of the experience gap. The way that he came out in his video and said what he did to me was tame for him, and how it's something that has affected me so much because it was the first time. And if I knew, I wouldn't have, if I had the choice of where my first time being sexual or whatever, I would have not picked there. I would have not picked it in front of multiple people. But again, it's important how it was tamed to him, but also the age gap of, if that was tamed to him, or if he's done stuff like this before, you think he'd know better. The power imbalance. No, I didn't fucking bring up power and say how I was excited to be there because of his clout. I wasn't fucking using him for his clout. That's not why power is important here. Him going and being like, I feel used. Fucking cry me a river. That's not why I brought up the power. Why power is important in this is because I looked up to them. I was an aspiring creator, and these were the biggest creators in the industry. Like, I before I started streaming, I watched these people. I watched the Dream SMP. Like, I did that shit. I looked up to them. I was excited being around them because I was excited to be around such successful people, not because I only see people for their followers, but because I've looked up to these people. And that's why it's so much more heartbreaking. I mean, being violated is one thing, but who it comes from is also. And again, it's not, I wasn't gonna use this and use their clout. Also, I stayed silent for so long because I knew how much power they had. I mean, you've seen, there are people to this day that stay silent about their experiences because of what's happening to me right now. You saw what has happened to me since I came out, about how smart they are with these situations, and how there's people, there's creators that have messaged me about their stories but say they're still scared to do it. I mean, it's even the fact of the power in the situation of we have the same fucking Twitch manager. Like, I had so much at cost. I put up with it all. After it happened, I didn't want it to happen, but I was just trying to forget about it because we have the same Twitch manager. The reason I was at VidCon in the first place, the reason I got a meet and greet back in TwitchCon and got to meet my viewers for the first time, moments that mean so much to me, was all thanks to my Twitch manager. Without that, I wouldn't be able to do content. I wouldn't be able to continue. And they told me, again, they didn't tell me in a malicious or threatening way, but I just learned that night, again, through questions and games we were playing, they have the same Twitch manager that would do anything for them. I mean, if I came out about anything, I'm not saying they would have used that, but I hope you guys would understand how I was in a place of, I was scared of their power, and I acknowledged their power and their fame, not because I was acknowledging them for their numbers and not for who they were as a person, but because I acknowledged that my future could be over because of the connections that they had. Even in my own life, like in my own success that I was having as a creator, my biggest, contributor to that success was someone that they were also tied to and had way more, say over. And also, the biggest thing about power in that situation, again, I had so much at risk. I had to suck up what happened to me. That's what I'm talking about. Putting up with it. I'm saying that because I didn't want my future at stake because I got assaulted. But also the power that he took by doing it in front of people. I'm a very shy person. It's hard for me to say, to stand up for myself in regular situations, but I feel like if that sexual move or, wanting to take it to the next level, if it was done in a private setting, maybe I could have mustered up enough courage to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this, or to rip his hands out of my fucking bra. But he did it on a couch with other people sitting next to us, and with other people in the room. Any expression I did, anything I did, it was on display for other people. He took the power away from me in that situation. And once again, the consent aspect. I understand if you think I'm full of shit. I understand if you don't believe me at all. I understand if those two things you think I'm full of shit about, who cares about the age? Who cares about, the power imbalance in the situation? The consent is always fucking there. He admitted, I never gave verbal consent. Again, the only question he asked is, are you ticklish? I said fucking no. Like, there was no consent given. It doesn't matter if you're laughing. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter where you are. That is not an invitation. And for everyone saying, well, you could have gave non-verbal consent, I will tell you right now, if I was given the opportunity to give even non-verbal consent, my answer would have always been no. I'm asexual. I don't like sexual stuff. Given the option of doing something sexual, my answer is going to be no. I'm on the spectrum of asexual, which I don't know if it's because of my bad experiences, but anything sexual makes me extremely uncomfortable. So, let's say, under the circumstances, I'm drunk and I could have gave non-verbal consent. I would have still said no. Non-verbally. However the fuck I could have done that. And again, I'm fucking drunk. Oh, you were laughing. Oh, you were doing... I'm fucking drunk with my friends. How did I... The reason I brought up this entire situation and what I was hoping to bring light to, this wasn't about him. This wasn't about him. I was trying to bring light to blind idolization. How dangerous it is. Coming from someone who was a viewer, how dangerous it is to blindly idolize these people that you don't know. And I always tell my viewers that, to not idolize me to the point of defending me till, like, you die. It's unhealthy. People aren't gonna be, not everyone is who they seem, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's important to swallow it. You know what I mean? Like, and especially in these kind of situations where you idolize someone to the point of where something bad comes out about them and you just dig for excuses for them. Just so many excuses instead of just accepting it. That's where it gets dangerous. That's where it's dangerous for everyone involved. It's again, I know how hard something like this can be to accept. It's like, if your best friend, your best friend so much, and someone comes to you and says they did something to them. You don't want to believe it because you know your best friend and you don't think they could ever do that. I mean, look at them. Because you know them so well, except you don't fucking know these people. You don't know these people. They aren't your best friend. These are people that create content to millions of people. They aren't your best friend. Like, you don't know who they could be. And again, and that's why I think it's so important. It leaves you in a situation where you're like, well, how can I trust anyone? It's so important to see the people that do know. These content creators that have spent time with these people, these content creators that do know these people, have had private conversations with these people, speaking out against them. It's so blatantly obvious. These people that have seen them behind the scenes, that have hung out with them, that have distanced themselves since then, or that have spoken out against them. I was just hoping that this situation could open people's eyes. And again, how scary and how it's just building more and more this devotion to these people. But I was just hoping to open some people's eyes, I guess. And it's definitely a problem bigger than me. This is just about the behind the scenes of this community, you know, and all the people that have fallen victim to it. I mean, there's so much shit that goes down, and I'm just one of the ones that have came out about my story. I don't want to sit here and keep having to prove myself. I can't sit here and have to watch his responses and see his face and watch him describe it. I can't. I can't keep doing this, and I'm accepting the fact that maybe, you know, nobody believes me. I'm accepting the fact. I'm accepting it. But also, I feel like, especially in this situation, there's nothing I could say that could change some people's minds. I think, again, because of this idolization, this is how it's dangerous. How, no matter what I say, no matter what proof I come out about, people that don't want to believe will never believe. They will never believe, no matter what comes out. It's because they don't want to. They will continue to find excuses to not face reality. As for any forgiving or anything, I feel like it's very obvious. I was never in a position to forgive anyone. I didn't go into this wanting to forgive anyone. And again, that is my choice. But especially how I've seen the things play out. The way I've been treated. Especially since his responses. I would never forgive. I wouldn't. I've been belittled, blamed, invalidated, been called a liar, been called Amber Heard, been called any name, even though he sat there and admitted to it. Again, it's not false allegations when I came out about my sexual assault story and he admitted to it. The amount of victim blaming, though, has been insane. And in these situations, it's a very real issue that happens. To this day, it happens all the time when someone comes out about something. The people saying I shouldn't have been illegally drinking. Well, that's what you get for being, you know, illegally drinking. You know, if I was in the UK, where I am most of the time, drinking legally at 18 and this situation still happened, what then? Because I know the people saying it's my fault because I was illegally drinking would just find another reason to blame me. Even if I was legally drinking, they would find another reason to blame me. It's not about the drinking. It's not about the fact I laughed. It's about the fact that you just want to find a reason to blame me for the situation that happened to me. People saying that I shouldn't have been laughing, that I was drunk. Oh my god, I was drunk. Like, your mindset during that is, it doesn't change what you want and don't want. And again, like, it's people saying I probably liked it and now I just regret it. I didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't. I don't know how loud I have to shout it. And again, I'm asexual. I would have never liked it and then regretted it. I would have never liked it to begin with. I'm trying to tell you this. It's always a she shouldn't have done that. She should have done this. She shouldn't have been wearing that. She shouldn't have done this. Rather than a simple, he shouldn't have done what he did. It's never just a simple, he should have controlled himself. It's always, you know, her fault in these situations, and never his for not controlling himself. I don't get it. And I would also like to point out, it's not a her and he situation. Because men get assaulted too, okay? Roles are that's assault. Men get assaulted too. It can happen to anyone, and that's very real. And that's a conversation that really should be had, but not in this situation. It's not my fault for smiling. It's not my fault for being there. It's just not. I acknowledge that I was naive. I acknowledge. But I'm not gonna apologize for being naive and not realizing, you know, the way the world is sometimes, you know? I would also like to acknowledge, this is another thing that I am going to acknowledge and take accountability for. My goal for coming out about this all, I've strayed very far away from my goal. My goal when I came out about this was for it not to be about drama, for it not to be about canceling. And I know you hear that now and you're probably thinking you're the biggest hypocrite in the world, and I acknowledge that. I have strayed. Anytime I replied to him on Twitter, anytime I made a response on Twitter, anytime I was like, look at these screenshots, look, it opened the floor for it to be viewed as drama and as, you know, me trying to ruin his life. I made those tweets out of, I felt like I was backed into a corner. I made those tweets out of anger, seeing him say he would have never, like, crossed someone's boundaries. It just, I was really upset. And I acknowledged by doing that stuff, I strayed away from my goal of why I did this all. But it is true that that was my goal in the beginning. For everyone that watched my first stream and didn't stop, that happened. People watched my stream, heard me tell my story, how scared I was, heard my story, but stopped after the story was done to go in their notes app, to write down every single detail about the guy that did it, to go to Twitter, to then form these bands and figure out who did it and who to attack. It wasn't fucking about him. It wasn't about him. And if you would have listened past my story and listened to any of the things I talked about after, it's about victims. It's barely even about me. It's me telling my story about assault. It's about assault, and it's about the things that go on behind the scenes. And it became this thing about him, about canceling him, about drama. It turned into this thing to spread hate and to spread, you know, people just fighting and picking sides, and then people commenting on it. You know, the commentary, like it's a fucking sports match, and it's not real fucking life. I can't turn it off. I can't. You can argue about it on Twitter. You can watch videos about it. You can talk about it on a podcast. You can make a video covering it. But then you can move on to the next hit topic. You can move on to the next trending thing. You can turn off your phone and it doesn't exist anymore. I can't turn off my life. I can't turn off my memories. I can't turn it off. It's something that happened to me. You know, anytime someone asks, what's the furthest you've gone? That's my story. That's what I'm reminded of it. And I can't turn that off. It's a real thing. It's real people. The purpose of me trying to come out about this, I was trying to bring, you know, I finally felt safe to tell my story. And for all the people in these situations that pressure other creators to make commentaries on it, that at other creators being like, say something, fuck you. What are you doing? Why are you begging at these other creators to say something, to make comments, just so you have more things to consume in this situation? These are real people. You don't know what they're going through behind the scenes. You don't know how they're processing it. I mean, imagine something like that happening to you, and then you're getting grilled to... It's not about any of them. It's not about them. It's not about him. It's about... Especially... the creators that I never knew, I wasn't aware about, had stories that have reached out to me. You never know what someone's going through. Adding someone in these kind of sensitive situations, telling them to speak on it, you don't know what they've went through. You don't know if they've went through things with these people too. You don't know. It's disgusting to get these people, you know. And again, I do say acknowledge the people coming out about this, speaking against it, and I am grateful for all the people that have. A lot of them are my friends, and a lot of them, you know, are creators that I look up to that have reached out to me, making sure I'm okay. But also, I will make aware that this also does open, you know, the platform and open the ability for people to, you know, that aren't good to speak on it and be like, yeah, I support you, just, you know. So it is hard to fully trust everyone, but anyway, um, I brought it up. I brought all this up. It became into this thing of picking sides and dramatizing it, making it into drama instead of focusing on the bigger issue, instead of focusing on the things that happen in the content world, instead of focusing on the issues of blind idolization, you know? But people only cared about finding something else to argue about instead of just focusing on the main idea. And the biggest thing that I want to mention, and one of the last things, is people saying, why did you come publicly about this? Why didn't you keep it private? Why did you? Because I saw what Shelby did for me. I saw the effect Shelby had on me. Seeing another content creator, someone I looked up to, speaking out about something that happened, realizing that someone I looked up to went through the same thing as me, you don't understand what that does. You don't understand how that feels. I wanted to be that for other people. Me staying silent about my situation, who is that helping? I understand, oh, it's just bringing up, because if you view it as drama, it is like, oh, why are you bringing this drama forward? But it isn't. It's sexual assault. It is me, and my viewers know, one of the biggest things I've focused on in my content is being open for the purpose of connecting, because realizing someone that you watch goes through the same things that you do, it is so healing, and it is so eye-opening. And again, I will always, if I could do this all over, I would do it all again, because the amount of viewers of mine and viewers that aren't of mine that have reached out to me saying they understand and that they feel safe now to accept what's happened to them. Not even safe to come out about their stories, because you don't have to come out about your story. You don't have to yell it off the rooftops to heal from it, you know? But again, it is a big help. It creates this open discussion of these hard things to talk about. That's why I came out about my story. Not to, and again, I know it sounds hypocritical, and I'm acknowledging that, and I did things I probably shouldn't have with making it this drama kind of thing on Twitter by replying and being, you know, but yeah, again, I came out with my story. It's fine if you don't believe me. And it's also really fine if you don't understand me. You don't understand why I did. You don't understand why I couldn't have stood up in the moment and ran out of the room. It's fine if you don't understand, because the story isn't for you. It's for people victims who understand my thought process. My first stream wasn't, this is all the bad stuff that this person did, go kill them. It was me describing my experience with assault that happened to me, and then acknowledging it, you know, actually realizing, shit, this is something that happened to me and I can't ignore it, and accepting it. It was about my journey as a victim, and I fully understand not many people to understand that kind of journey. And even if you are a victim and don't understand me, you know, you don't have to have the same situation to still be a victim, so I understand that as well. My story was meant for people who chose to believe me, not because, you know, of proof, or because I have video of it, or because of any of that, but because they've experienced it themselves, and they recognize it. They recognize what I've went through, and they recognize that I'm sincere about it. I feel like the whole situation, the way it played out, has been very unfair, but what's most unfair is what he did to me in the first place. So there's that. I'm tired of the constant fight of trying to validate what I went through, to validate and prove that I was uncomfortable. I'm tired with it all, honestly. But again, I would still do it all over again, because I don't want people to view that as me, like, bowing out, and, you know, because I bit more than I can chew. I'm still here, but I'm just not gonna apologize for what I've went through. I know there may be more after this, more, you know, people trying to get the final word, or like people, you know, responding to what I've said. But this is my final thought on it all. If there's anything said after this, or there's responses or anything, I won't be there to see it. I won't. As for, you know, the future and stuff, I'm in a really weird place. You know, content, when I was going through stuff in my real life, I would use content as kind of an escape. You know, it was a place to feel safe, and even if my life was shit off the screen, I could come on here and be with you guys. But now, obviously, I'm just in a very weird place. So I'm not promising anything, not promising that I'm gonna come back, not promising that I'm leaving forever. It's just a thing about time and taking time. And I hope you guys can understand that. It does suck. There are things that I've been working on for like a year that I don't want to just scrap, but also it's just... And I think a lot of people need time right now. Not even just me or him or like anyone. I think it's just... Yeah. I, again, can't promise anything for the future, but I'll promise that, you know, I'll do whatever I love moving forward. And I wish you guys the best. I don't want to, you know, you guys to view this as me abandoning you or whatever, but I just don't want to promise anything. I will never forget how kind a lot of you have been, and the way that my community has treated me since I was 16. Truly, I'm really lucky. I really, really am. A lot of people tell me I'm, you know, brave for coming out about all this. I feel the exact opposite. I'm only strong because of you guys and the people supporting me behind the scenes. I guess that's it. I can sit here and ask for this not to be clipped out of context and ask for people to just refer people here, but I know that that's not gonna happen. I have no control over it, so I've said all I can. And again, thank you all. That's all, I guess. Goodbye. Stay safe. Please heal. And yeah.